Hello, this is Steve Malone with Compass FX. I hope you're doing well today and again some good trades. In a previous video I talked about how to simplify your trading using the average daily range. So what I want to do is review that video and discuss what's taken place in the market since I did that video, and also to answer a few questions about how to trade with the average daily range. And is the average daily range levels similar to support resistance levels? And one other question I received is, how does the average daily range react to red news in the market, like a non-farm payroll type of news announcement? So let's take a look at the market and consider that when we're in a range-bound market, the market just seems to go up and down, and you're not getting any real trend. It doesn't seem to want to move and continue in a direction. What can you do to help yourself in your trading? I find that if you use the average daily range and consider the range levels as targets as you trade, you may be better off in your trading. Let's take a look at the pound yen. You can see that the pound yen, as I mentioned in the previous video, was just up and down. But for this week, we can see that the average daily range, putting it on the chart here from your weekly high, mid-high, weekly mid-low, and your weekly low target, look what the pound yen has done since the start of the week. We opened up, had a little gap open, but moved right up to the weekly mid-high. Made a push down to the weekly mid-low. Now as for today, we can see that we kind of bounced around the weekly open area, but we progressed on up. So to answer the question, how do you trade with the average daily range, what I tend to do is I look at a trend line. So in this case, if we put a trend line on the lows, and I kind of come across the average low like so, you can see that the market, off these average lows here, you can see how the market came down to that trend line. Notice that I have these lows, I have a higher low, and then a higher low. That suggests the market is in an uptrend. And so I look for the market to continue pushing higher. So at the start of the day, we kind of bounced around up and down right here. Off that trend line, we could have set our stop loss below the trend line. And as the market progressed higher, we just simply follow the trend line with our stop loss. Our target is the average daily range level. And here we got it pretty close to it, within about a pip or so of hitting that level today. Take a look at the dollar yen. Now on the dollar yen, in the previous video, I talked about that I looked for the potential for the market to continue to rise off that trend line. I was literally looking for the market to get up around the 98.40 to 98.50 area, because that was the daily high target of the average daily range pro calculator by Compass FX. It's a tool that I developed a few years ago that I use on a regular basis. Look what happened. The market moved up the trend line, what I call walking the trend line, got up to our weekly high, and just kind of bounced around here on the weekly high. Well, what you could do at this point, if you're trading based upon the average daily range, is you simply place your stop up underneath the average daily range. Okay, so we traded from level to level, and now we're looking for it to push higher. So put your stop loss up underneath that level. Then look what the market did. This is actually FOMC. So during the FOMC statement, pretty strong move up. Okay, so if it had come down, we would have been stopped out, but we would have actually had a bit of profit from this entry point here at that level. Okay, had our stop here if it came back against us, but in this case we push up. Well, guess where I put my stop now? I put my stop underneath this level. Okay, a few pips underneath it. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar, see what took place with it. Now in the previous video we had pushed down, we were sitting in this area, and then it pushed down, and for today, after the Asian session got started, it came down and hit the weekly extension low. Couldn't go any further, went right back up to the weekly low level. Now interestingly, it couldn't take out these previous highs. You see these highs right back in here? It couldn't take that out, fell back over, bounced around a little bit around the weekly low level, and came back to it. And here's FOMC, and during the FOMC statement, came down, broke through the weekly extension low, and came within about 10 pips or so of the daily low target, and now it's progressing back up. But you could have traded it from the weekly low to the weekly extension low, number one, and just put your stop up above. On the pound dollar, take a look at this. Similar situation as the Aussie. Asian session comes down, can't break below this, turns, and so in this case you could possibly take your trade long from this point, looking for it to go to this target. Put your stop below here. Market moves up, hits that level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it hits that level and can't get any higher. That's about as far as it's going to go if it hits that many times, and then the market turns over. And again, an opportunity here when the market turned and broke to the downside, you could have traded from up in this area back down towards the weekly extension low and got within, let me see, in this case we got within about 5 pips or so of the daily low target. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Similar situation from the start of the day. Here's a level, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits at the weekly low level, can't get any lower. Well, look to trade long, put your stop up underneath here, and look what it does. It pushes right up and hits this area, and again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it hits that level, and it can't seem to close above. FOMC comes out, look what it does. Right through the weekly low and right down to the weekly extension number 1 low level. These are just ways to go about trading with the average daily range. Now the average daily range is more than support resistance. Support resistance is usually some average low points and some average high points, or the highest high and the lowest low. That's not what the average daily range is. For those of you not familiar with the average daily range, it is the daily highs and the daily lows averaged over a period of days. We take that average and we set that average in such a way that we have a weekly range from weekly high to weekly low. But we've also incorporated an extension beyond the average daily range, because we all know that the market will move from a range down to another level and create another range. Well, oftentimes we'll see the market break a weekly low or break the weekly high, and where to? If we get continuation of the downside on the euro, I already have levels. I've incorporated 3 extension low levels, as well as we've incorporated 3 extension high levels. So these are ways to go about trading the average daily range. Now, one other question I had was, well, how does the average daily range react to big news items or red news in the marketplace? These weekly levels do not change. They're there for the entire week, because what we're looking for from a weekly perspective is the market to move from level to level. What will change for the day is our daily high and low targets. See, taking a look at this, we can see that over 5 days, this is part of the average daily range pro calculator, over 5 days we've had a 58 pip range, average daily range over 5 days, and from here to here, that's your 58 pips. And actually, look, this guy goes up, we hit our target. Market turns, we hit our target. It doesn't happen every day. Sometimes we're inside our targets. Here we have 105 pips. The pound hasn't moved enough today to reach its average daily range over 5 days of 105, so it stayed within it. When typically it stays within it, I look for some strong movement the following day. The Aussie dollar, similar situation, but in this case we did see it push up and hit our daily high target. And the pound yen, if I put the daily targets on here, let's see what the daily targets look like for the pound yen. Look what the market's right at, the daily high target, and did not hit the daily low target sitting here. Well, folks, this is Dean Malone with Compass FX. I hope some of the information I've shared with you about trading with the average daily range will help you out. For those of y'all who already have the average daily range calculator, you haven't been using it, get it back out, dust it off, put it on your charts. When the market's range bound, use this tool. I use the tool all the time, whether we're range bound or we're trending. It really helps in our trading. If you want to learn more about the average daily range and learn a little bit more about the calculations that go into average daily range, go over to www.compassfx.com/ADR and watch the video. I explain how you can do the calculations. So whether you're doing the calculations on your own or you get a tool like the Average Daily Range Pro Calculator, I truly recommend you add it to your trading toolbox to become a better trader. Well, this is Dean Malone with Compass FX. Y'all make it a great day. Get some good trades. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.